Hello, welcome to our first of 2022 Transatlantic Tea Times. It's part of our IDS Talks podcast. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. With me this morning for me, afternoon for them, Dan and Tim, my not British Brit colleagues.
Hey, at a very unflattering angle as well.
I don't know if any angle necessarily would have accomplished that. But first and foremost, you're both on the same camera today, so that's pretty cool. But I
With
also
our new
see
office in the background.
Yep. You ruined it. You ruined it. There goes the question. Where are you?
Yeah, we are sitting on the front steps of our new dig. So about, I would say, 3 months ago, we reached a point where we were starting to bend at the seams. So decided a little bit of an upgrade was in order. And as we start to grow and expand and bring on more team members, we needed a place fit for purpose. And we're now on the steps of that place. So very excited to be here. Yep.
I love it. I want to talk about that in a minute. I like the hat, Tim. I should have been wearing one earlier. So these two guys know, but the listeners don't. I'm in New Jersey. We got our first significant snowfall of the year. 6 inches of snow. Fluffy, no problem. I have a teenage son. Yes, Tim Latulipe. I know that's not how we pronounce it, but come on, it's tea time. I have a son. His job is to shovel for 1 more year before he goes off to college. But my little princess of a dog, 10 years old and about 12 pounds, Havanese, needs a place to go outside. So someone had to go out and shovel her path to the grass so that she would be able to make it through the day. Maybe that's too much information. Okay, good.
Yeah. Been there, done that. Not in this country because it doesn't snow like that. But I grew up in Vermont, as you know, and it snow up to your waist pretty routinely throughout the winter, and the dogs definitely can't go.
Yeah, no, and I know that if it snowed, Dan, the way he loves his dog, he would be out there even if he had to take a little a beach shovel. You know, when you dig in the sand with your kid, tiny. You would have done that if you had to. Roof.
Oh,
I know.
I mean, anything for the dog. And being a Canadian, I know exactly how to take care of snow. So there's no issue there for the Ruprecht family.
You are such a mutt. One day we'll go into the whole background of where you're from and where you've been. I think we covered that a little bit, but not today. So what I want to talk about the new digs. I want to talk a little bit about kind of what the highlights were for the two of you in 2021 and what you're looking forward to in 2022. So I know that 2022, one of those is going to be growth, thus our new office space. But let's start with 2021. What were a couple of the highlights?
So it's actually related a little bit to some of our growth. I mean, we've had some great projects, worked with some great clients, but one little bit of feedback that we received while we were doing some recruiting and looking for our next new team member was we started to meet with a number of individuals, and one in particular came forward to us and said that she had heard about what IDS was doing and how we were all problem solvers and really thinking about ways to do things differently and find solutions to bigger problems in a more novel way, and that she or he should, maybe consider moving over or looking into opportunities at IDS. And to hear that in the community, to hear that in the market, that we're really sort of doing things a little bit differently, that's what our goal is. From day one when we opened up shop here in Europe was to really build something that didn't currently exist, a more consultative e-discovery office that really dealt with technology and its crossover with the law in new ways. And I think we're succeeding in that based on some of this feedback we've been getting. So that was really exciting.
Good one. Yeah, I think in addition to that, maybe a little more operationally, that's probably more market awareness and branding in your bag, Jonathan. Which is great feedback. I was excited to hear about that. We like to make our own noise, but to have somebody that we don't even know say, "Oh, I heard that IDS group really knows what they're doing," was quite nice to hear.
Yeah.
The other thing, I think, in 2021, I thought about this earlier. I think we worked on projects in every single one of our key service areas, where we didn't have time to do that in 2020. Pandemic, starting mid-year, kind of all of that sort of time didn't allow. But this in 2021, we worked on forensics projects, structured data, cyber. We had managed review elements. We had every single one of our work streams in play on more than one project. And that was also very exciting for us. We were able to flex all of our different kind of service areas for the first full year we were operating in London. So that was great.
Yeah. Well, my highlight for 2021 is that I get to see you guys in 2022.
That's right.
Which is what does that mean? So for those who may not know, we opened the office April of 2020. Perfect time to go ahead and launch the office, but it had been in the works, prior to that. So we knew what we were getting into, but to be able to have not just a profitable London office and European presence in 2021 was, not only was that a highlight, but the fact it positions us for what we want to do in 2022 and beyond, I think is also really incredible. So let's talk about 2022. What are you looking forward to most in 2022?
Again, I'll kick it off to you, and I'll take over after that, maybe.
Sure. Yeah, a lot of what we've been doing, again, for a lot of it in terms of how we've been dealing with the sort of shift in remote work and the types of work that we've been getting, and in opening our office in a not perfect environment. We spent a lot of time putting our chess pieces into the right position. I think we really did a really good job creating that runway and positioning ourselves to sort of operate in the way we knew that we could and grow in the way that I'm sure that we will. And what I'm most looking forward to in 2022 is really watching the fruits of that labor sort of evolve and grow into what we know it will become. One of our big litmus tests in the approach and making sure that we are on the right track is that sort of growth trajectory that you were already talking about. And seeing that sort of move up in the pace that it has over the last few months, many months, and to put us in a position where we're changing office, where we're actually growing the team. All of these things are just going to make us better at what we're already doing and more capable to do more of what we're already doing. So what I really am excited about is to really see that traction take hold and really push us in ways that we've been pushed, but really sort of do it in such a way where we're starting to build out the team and grow in sort of a meaningful fashion.
Yeah, and let me talk about that maybe without taking words out of your mouth, Jonathan, because you might have a tempo or interest in some elements of that growth. And I'll use a subset of what Dan said, in that I'm excited about growing the team in particular. We are growing. There's always growth means, to most people, it probably means revenue, and it does to us as well. But really, I'm excited about the culture growing here. We started this endeavor as two people. We've now hired top talent to join us. It's a person that's known to us, which is exciting. They're known to this market. They'll have to serve a notice garden period for a while, so their identity will be protected for some time. But we know they'll be on in the spring. They add fuel to the fire, force multiplier. They're going to help us implement a European variant of steps that we use in America with IDS clients. They work very well with certain clients we're not currently working with. That kind of thing is very exciting. But we're also looking at the next round of business development professionals, people to work in structured data analytics, because we're starting to get involved in a lot more of those from a European perspective. So I think 2022 is going to be a year of team building, sort of culture explosion, revenue growth, but also maybe focusing more on service lines that have been less prevalent in this part of the world, notably structured data analytics, areas like anti-money laundering, AML type inquiries, tax investigations, certain class action, group action claims, where you guys have had success in America, can now have some weight and some benefit here in the UK and the rest of Europe. So I'm excited about that taking off this year as well. Yeah.
You know what I didn't hear? I didn't hear we're really excited because Sachs is going to maybe make his way across the
Well,
pond.
that's a given. That goes without saying, man.
You have to come. Hunters come 3 times for every time you visit, basically. So you're going to have to catch up.
Yeah. Then I'm afraid.
We've got a chalkboard in the office that has all the pints you owe us, so we're just going to keep that going. We might need a new ball, though.
Yeah.
For the people who've actually seen some of our posts on LinkedIn, I believe there was actually a whiteboard with the count, which was absolutely ridiculous. But I accept it and embrace it fully. For me, Tim, you hit on a lot of things that I think did resonate with me, and I would have repeated myself. As the director of sales and marketing, getting the messaging out and hearing the market hear it and have people who want to join us, perhaps because of it, fantastic. Revenue, I mentioned profitable. Of course, dollars are important, but you talked about culture, and I've been at IDS now almost 3 years, and the culture is something that we are very particular about. We don't look for the same personalities. We are a company of over 50 different personalities, though I do think some of our colleagues share a brain. We won't name names on video or on our audio podcast, but they know who they are.
Well, 2 of them are here, unfortunately.
Well, I didn't want to say it. But the fact that we really look to find people who will fit into that culture, embrace the culture, and live that culture. And the culture is not just internal. It's external to our clients. We talk about, and we haven't done a podcast on our core values, but, we do have 5 core values here at IDS that we live by internally and externally. And it's very important to us. And we actually look at our employees. I don't even know if the 2 of you knew this. We look at all of the employees and say, how are they doing compared to those core values? Are they demonstrating it sometimes, usually, or, are they superstars in it? And so, you talk about culture. I think the other thing that's going to be really unique to see is the European flavor to the culture that will be created. And I think for the 2 of you, that's really exciting. I mean, you took a leap of faith to say, all right, we're going to take IDS, which is well known in the States and known somewhat around Europe and Asia, but let's take this new known entity, though we've been around since 2008, and sell it here. Yeah. And now to see during a pandemic, to be able to go from the 2 of you doing everything from sweeping the floors to being in front of clients and submitting testimony, to now having this next hire, who I can't wait until there are 3 of you on the podcast. Yeah. Hopefully followed shortly by a 4th. And so
very shortly. Yeah.
So for 2022,
it's great that you say all of that, because it really is. I mean, one of the things when Tim and I started at IDS, I mean, it's not the first we worked with each other. We had been working together for several years prior to moving over to IDS. And when we were leaving our previous employee, or even just thinking about leaving our previous employee, it was with this sort of mindset of building a unique environment to do the type of work that we do, one that doesn't necessarily exist in Europe yet, but is very cognizant and careful when dealing with the various cultures and jurisdictional nuances that we deal with over here. And I really think that's one of the reasons why we were so attracted to IDS and why others are attracted to IDS when we speak to them. It's this idea that we're problem solvers. It's not always one size fits all. It's how do we do things differently to accommodate the needs of what specifically you're looking at that time. And to many, that's very uncomfortable. But to an IDSer, to someone in this environment, that's what we thrive on. We thrive on figuring things out that we might not know right now, but we're certain we will with the effort put forth. And I think when we build our team and when people come to us, it's with that mindset as well. If you want just a bog standard commoditized product, there's many places you can go to. If you want something that is nuanced, something that is complex, something that requires a little bit of out-of-the-box thinking, you go to IDS. And that's really where I'm excited about building the team, because the people we're speaking with, that's what they want to do. And you see the excitement in them. They're like, really, I want to get involved with something that's not the everyday. I want to get involved with something that's out of the ordinary. And that's really awesome. Yeah.
When Dan Regard listens to this podcast, he's going to be thrilled, because he'd be saying in his own head 2 things. One, we're experts at becoming experts. So, right. So we may already be experts, but technology is evolving so quickly that there is no expert in some cases. And so who's going to be the one to sit there and ask the questions and dive into it and really dig into what your problem is to find the solution?
It's a bit contradictory and probably problematic for me to say on video, but I've never, even as an expert witness and someone who considers themselves very good at their line of work, I sometimes have a problem with the word expert, because I think you're always learning, and to say you're an expert assumes that it's almost like an expert welder, and you know everything about welding and there's nothing left to learn. I think that's an applicable use of that term. I think if you work in data forensics or something like that, I think you're always a little bit on your back foot. Anyway, that's just a thought that I always have.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that you said, Dan, that I liked is IDS is not order takers, and we're not in the business of selling commodity services. We certainly can handle plain vanilla type projects, but we live by kind of our three pillars. Again, so the marketing guy in me is going to have to come out, and that is, consultative experts, structured process, customized, or as you guys would say, bespoke solutions. Not everyone offers that, and there's so much that goes into that. It's the expertise of all the years, and that's not just the expertise. I'm not just talking expertise of IDS and the collective decades of experience we have. I mean, we're leveraging the two of you and the expertise that you have, and as the team grows, their expertise. But being able to take that knowledge, which we've now put into our processes, and then really come up with those customized solutions. It is a different approach. If you want plain vanilla, we'll give it to you. Yeah. But I say more often than not, that's not what people actually want. They think that that's what they want, but they don't really know either all the options that are available, or they haven't really thought about what it is that they need. I have to work on that a bit better, because if I go and if we're talking ice cream, I kind of know what kind of ice cream I want, and I hone in on that. I may sample something else, but all right. So other than the highlight of growth and adding to the team, let me ask you this one. Related but unrelated, because you guys are our European presence. The one city you haven't been able to go to for business since you started with us that you're looking most forward to going to?
Oh, since we started with IDS, wow. I mean, we started in a lockdown, and so we'd normally be in good 10 or 12 cities per year on the continent. Maybe, oh gosh. I'm actually really... Paris, it seems like a natural one for me because I've got the family and everything there. But actually, for me, I think Dublin I miss the most. There's something very, very home-like and charming and enjoyable about Dublin. I'm never sorry to be there. I always have a good time. We've got a lot of clients and friends there. What about you?
Probably I lean more to your first. So I have a lot of family in Munich. And so Munich is sort of top of my list. I haven't seen many of them for a few years now because of the pandemic. So being able to go see family and do business would be wonderful. Plus, they do the best pork knuckle in all the world. So that's never something to turn away from. And then also Brussels. I lived in Brussels for 5 years. Oh, it's
Did
really
you say
good.
pork
It's not
knuckle?
kosher. It's not kosher.
Not kosher,
but it is delicious. But then in Brussels, I lived there for 5 years and normally see my friends over there almost every quarter in normal times, and to not have seen anyone for a couple of years, getting back there and having a few West Flutter 12s is high on my list. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, for 2022, what I'm looking forward to is what's going to be a mostly, if we can do this the right way, mostly monthly Transatlantic Tea Time, where we get to talk more frequently. I'm hoping that, depending on how things look, maybe March-ish, the recording will be all of us in one location together.
That would be great. Oh, that would be awesome. And we may have in the very near future, as we've alluded to with a bit of a spoiler, but we may have another member with an actual English accent this time. So the UK office can start representing it with the right accent.
So I can have a real Brit on the team.
A real Brit.
Not these faux Brits.
You can have two and by early summer.
Two by early summer, yeah.
I love it. I love it. Well, listen, guys, thank you very much. Happy New Year to both of you. Looking forward to seeing the inside of the new digs. That's more to come on that. We get to do some interior decorating together.
Yep. It is.
For those
it's happening behind us. That's why we're outside. But
Vanessa's everywhere.
You'll see the inside soon. Yeah.
Can't wait. For those of you who this may be your first Transatlantic Tea Time podcast, please feel free to subscribe. Well, please subscribe. And you can pull down other IDS podcasts from your favorite podcast provider. And this is also up on YouTube. So the IDS Talks podcast is on IDS TV. Again, gents, good to see you. I'll tell you what, put +1 pint for both of you on that list for being so great and joining me today.
Actually just across the street, so we may just go straight over.
Hang on. I'll show you where it is. You can be.
Here we go.
This is where you can pay your. This is where you can pay your debt. All right. There she blows.
All right, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Keep this stool warm for me.
Okay, will do, my
friend. All right,
friend.
guys. Take care. Thanks again, everyone.